Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate tat swayam yoga sansiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Very reassuring and very comforting shloka of Bhagavad Gita. I always think of it like this. What does it mean? Nahi jnanena sadrusham. There is nothing equivalent to wisdom, true wisdom, the wisdom of the real truth. Pavitramiha vidyate, as sacred and as holy, as exalted as the truth. There is nothing else in this world. And how does one achieve it? Tat swayam yoga sansiddhaha. The one who is ready, perfected in yoga. Such a person, by being perfected in yoga itself, attains it. When kale natmani, with time, once you practice to be a yogi, in that state of yoga, you are able to attain the highest truth, highest wisdom, and it is there for all. Kalenatmani vindati, with time everybody will attain it. However good or bad you are, as you keep perfecting yourself in this idea of yoga, at the end you definitely reach the same destination, you realize the truth. Once you realize the truth, there is nothing else needs to be known. Kasminnu bhagavo vijñate sarvamidam vijñatam bhavati iti. What is that knowing which nothing else needs to be known, or you will get to know everything else? That truth is known by the one who is perfected in the art of yoga. Now the question is, what is yoga? That you do in the morning after you wake up, stretch yourself, do pranayama, all that. Is that yoga? That is physical activity, physical yoga. Then is it meditation yoga? We sit down and chant some mantra, and then we try to meditate on the mantra, contemplate on the mantra. Is that yoga? That is mental yoga. And what else is yoga? What does Krishna mean by saying you have to be a yogi? Siddha yogi, completely ready in that yoga. The simple definition of yoga comes from the dhatu word yuja. Yuja means to yoke or to merge, to fuse, to unite. So in that state of union, in that state of fusion, not confusion, fusion, in that state of unity, oneness, is when the truth is revealed. See, truth is not learnt. It comes to us when we are ready for it. How do we get ready? When our mind merges in our consciousness. There are no two left. In that moment, you realize the truth is what Sri Krishna says. But how to make our mind merge? By practice. And how do we attain it ultimately? By continuous practice, prayatno videyaha. Keep practicing. And yesterday when we were discussing with all the people, I was telling them, our idea is to take the individual thinking and merge it into collective thinking, and take all the collective wisdom and thinking and merge it into the highest divine or spiritual thinking. So as individual, I have my own ideas, what I like, what I don't like, how things should be, how things should not be. It will be colored by the perceptions and the experiences of my life, of this life and the lives before this. So we all think different. Munde, matir binna, they say. Everybody thinks differently. But when you come together as a department, as a group, as an organization, as a team, you have to sink in your differences and learn to think in a collective way. What is good for everyone? What is the best solution for all? It's not about what I want, it's about what is needed to be done. Then you learn to sacrifice your individuality for the sake of the collectivity, for the sake of the greater idea of samaja, good of all. And when you start thinking like that, your intuitive capabilities develop. And these intuitive capabilities are divinely inspired. When you come to know what needs to be done, beyond what everybody thinks also, you know this is the right thing to do. So from individuality, this collective consciousness, from collective consciousness to divine consciousness is the journey. This is what I simply put it as I to we to he. Our organizations cannot stop from I to we. It has to go from we to he. We to he is the yoga part of it. I to we is not the yoga. We to he is the yoga. But the way to he is through we. That is why these organizations are important, because they'll make you yogi at the end of it. Like always tell, there are 4 types of people in this world. First are yogis, because they only take, they don't give anything back. So like the stomach which only eats but does not, excrete, becomes sick. So they are greedy people. They keep taking and taking and taking. They don't give anything in return to anybody. They are Rogis, super selfish people. Then comes Bhogis, who take and pay only for what they have taken, not 1 rupee extra to anybody. Okay, I have consumed this, I will pay for it. You go to a hotel, you pay for what you've eaten. They are Bhogis. At least they are better than the Rogis, who steal, who take, who don't give anything in return. Bhogis only give as much as they take, but they are interested in themselves. So first it is their welfare, and then only they think of anybody else, if at all they think. Then comes the Tyagis. Tyagis are those who always give more than what they take. This is their thinking. Let me give more and let me take less from the society. And then come the Yogis. They don't take anything, they only give. Whatever they need, Yogakshemam Vahamyam, Bhagavan takes care of them. Why? Because they are always doing Bhagavan's work, they are always serving Bhagavan in everyone. They don't need anything, they don't ask for anything, they simply exist to do good. And their welfare is looked after by the Lord. They are the yogis. So only those who live in that state of surrender, dependence on the Lord and Lord alone, they become yogis. Below that are tyagis. You may think, oh, then he's a yogi. Why? Because he sits in Himalayan cave and does all kinds of things. He can hang upside down for a long, long time. But that is all not yoga. They're all training procedures to conquer your lower instincts and desires and body consciousness and things like that. But you don't have to do all these things. My path is not that difficult. I don't expect you to go and do all these kinds of very difficult types of yogas. Our yoga is, let us remain surrendered in the thought that we belong to the divine and we are here to simply express the divinity through all of us. Let the divine will flow through our activities, our thoughts, our feelings. That's yoga for us. When your mind is always merged with the divine, and every thought is an inspired thought, every act is an intuitive act. There is no thinking required, it happens. That is what Kathopanishad shloka somebody quoted yesterday, and I was very happy that they remember these things which we have taught. Yachet vang manasi prajnah tad yachet jnanatmani mahatini yachet tad yachet shantatmani, it says. Simple procedure. Yachet vang manasi. All your senses, faculty of the senses should be merged into the mind. The mind is buddhi, jnanatmani. Jnanatmani is individual intelligence. You have to merge that into it. Means don't do anything without thinking, without discriminating. That's what it says. But jnanatmani mahatini yachet. There is a greater intelligence. What is that intelligence? Social intelligence. Intelligence which thinks of everybody's good, not just one's own good. That intelligence should reign supreme compared to individual ideas. That is what is we, Mahati, Buddhi. And that Mahati Buddhi, the collective thought, collective thinking process should merge into Shantatmani. Shantatmani is divine intelligence. This divine intelligence just knows, it doesn't need to be told. It just happens for the divine intelligence. So yoga is the state of that divine intelligence, the Shantatmani stage. Below that is only Tyaga, Bhoga, Roga. Those who are only engaged in their senses and sense pleasures, Vang Manasi, they are all Rogis, Bhavaroga. There is no cure for it, at least not in the hospital that we are running. And it's very infectious also. We learn from each other wrong things and we spread it fast, worse than the COVID infection. So Bhavaroga. And there are very, very sick people in the world, Rogis of Bhavaroga. They have enough, but still they are not satisfied. They want more. Their greed is never done. Their desires are never finished. Always they want more. They have become billionaire, they want to become the richest now. And then when they become richest, they want to stay there. There is no end to that desire and greed. So that are Bhavarogis. Bhogis are there, work a day life they live, earn for their families, fend for their family. They don't think of anybody else other than their own people. And Tyagis are there who don't think everybody is our family. Let us do good for more people, not just for us. And then there are yogis who do not think this and that, who do not differentiate between us and them. For them, everything is divine. They don't even see people as family. They see everybody as divinity only. And whatever they do, whatever happens through them is all yoga. Such stage, when you reach, the truth reveals itself to you. Which is the truth? All are divine. And once you see everything in the light of that truth, there is no I and mine, there is no us and them, there is no difference between anybody. So that is our scripture, that is what we ought to learn. But to reach that stage step by step, I to we to he, from bhogi to tyagi to yogi. So I told when you come in the schools, in the sixth class, most of them are bogies only because they are here for education. They want to do something in life, grow, become something, earn well, build a house for their parents, and have a good bank account and things like that. So mostly those are the desires with which people enter in the school level. So I said at school level I will allow you to be bogies. Rogis are absolutely not even taken into the system. Who only want something for themselves, nothing for others, don't even enter this system. At least you start with bogies. Okay, you come for some selfish sake, fine. Get an education, stand on your 2 feet, become an earning member of the society, look after your family. That is the first step. I understand. But that is not what you are here for. By the time you reach 10th, schooling is getting into the high intermediate, you should have changed into Tyagis. Your idea of life should be, I am here to do more for others and less for myself. Whatever my time, energy, resources, talent, skills are there, they should be for betterment of the society. In that societal betterment, my betterment or my welfare will also be looked after. With that feeling, they should, at least by 11th, 12th, they should develop the Tyaga thought. By the time they reach the university, I have told very clearly in our university, nobody other than the thought of yoga should be taken into the university because university's motto is yoga karmasu kaushalam. They have to be trained into yogis. Tyagis is not the way. In Madhusudan Bhatt's time, he thought Tyagis should be produced, Yogajivis should be produced. In my times, it's only Yogajivis. At university level, I want everybody to be yogi or a yogini, no less than that. And who are these people? They are always surrendered to the divine. They have no iota of selfishness and desires in them. They are completely in tune with the divine consciousness so that everything that they do is divinely inspired. It's not their individual thinking, collective thinking. Those levels are over by school and pre-university. By the time you step into the university, you are really yogis. And you would have perfected yourself in this yoga of complete union of your mind with the divine, so much so that by the time you finish your graduation, you are all divine beings, Divinity should shine forth through each one of you. Perfected yogis is what I want to produce through this university. And so university staff and faculty, everybody was called together to discuss this idea that we must excel in everything that we do. This starts with taking small steps. And you see in our college, university, hospitals, it is so easy to become a yogi. Tyagi is the basic minimum requirement to even get into the university. But you turn into a yogi. How you turn into a yogi? Because everything that you do is for everybody's sake. And your welfare is looked after. You do good for others. This is what I was telling the staff. See, there is no consideration, there is no profit making over here. There are no financial constraints in terms of can I serve this patient or not because the patient cannot pay. Or can I take this child or not because the child cannot pay. There is nothing called paying any fee over here. And that is how our ancient Indian systems were. Our hospitals never charged, Vaidyas never charged, teachers never charged, Gurukulams were free. I was telling somebody now recently, all temples were annakshetras. Nobody went hungry in our country. What a beautiful culture. Everybody, even if they could not afford, they knew that a temple will serve them some meal, some prasadam. They won't be discriminated and denied. So everybody was assured of a meal. Everybody knew that the Gurukulam will give them education for free. They don't have to worry about fees. And everybody knew if they were fell sick, there will be a Vaidya who will come, look after their welfare and not charge anything in return. And their welfare was looked after by the temples, by the state, by the kings, by the richer people in the society. They used to look after these systems. So nobody needed to pay anything. In a way, our organization is simply that same revival of the same ancient idea. It may not look like a temple, but this is a temple. It may not look like that structure of the past, but it is that way, where everybody is given everything as they deserve, completely free. But what is the expectation? Expectation return is that begin with Tyagi, but end in Yogi. You all should be walking, talking, moving, breathing, speaking, working divine beings. That is the end result of all this effort. Whether you're a doctor, you're still a divine being. You're a teacher, divine being. You're a worker, divine being. You're a sevaka, divine being. Everybody. So we took some very important steps in the last 5 years. 5th year of the university is what we celebrated yesterday with all the faculty. It is the 5th anniversary. It started in 2018 under the Private Universities Act by the Karnataka state legislation. And by this act of legislation, it came into existence. And today is 5th year. And in 5 years, many changes were made. I like the highlights is the view, recap is the way. So quickly what I'll tell is that first thing we did was to ensure that higher education was possible in our institutions, which were only schools till 2018. So if children finished their education, they did not know where to go. They had to go and join another institution elsewhere, where they had to pay a fee. Some people could afford, some people could not. And many of them even could not come back to the institutions because there was no opportunity to join back. But universities coming was the first major revolution in our education system, which became the seedbed for the next set of missionaries, Yogajivis. And that is how today I see around 500 students are there in the university. So each one of them is a gem. Each one of them is so fired up with the purpose of doing good to others. They are not at all selfish. They are not desirous of their own welfare. Always thinking of how to do the divine will. Each of them. That is the beauty of this university, which is unique and different from all other. So the biggest revolution in education that started in our mission was with the opening of the Sri Sathya Sai University for human excellence. There was a debate, should it be of human excellence or should it be for human excellence? And I insisted it should be for human excellence. Of human excellence looks like we have already achieved everything. That sounds arrogant. But for human excellence gives us a reason to work every day harder than the previous day to achieve better results, better outcomes, to achieve excellence every day, to attain perfection every day. It pushes us to do that. When we say we are center for excellence, it's a learning center. That's why I told the faculty we should be lifelong learners. It should be a learning organization. We should learn from each other and improve ourselves every day. So the university's establishment, completely free of cost university, I think first of its kind, was the first big revolutionary step in taking our education mission forward. Second big step that I would say is to do away with state boards in terms of our curriculum, pedagogy or assessment methodologies. We moved away from Karnataka State Board, CBSE board. It was a big step because a lot of people were apprehensive whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. But we took the plunge of faith and we moved over to NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling. And with that started a whole new culture. A culture where students had more time to themselves, they could learn new subjects, we could pick and choose our subjects, we could identify our likes and dislikes early on. By ninth, you knew whether you want to be in arts or sciences or what you want to do. And suddenly the burden of writing exams every 6 months, every year, reduced to only certain board exams at 8th, 10th and 12th. That was the big second major, path-breaking policy in terms of modifying our education system. All this is to make you yogis. That's why I'm giving you the steps that we took. So from NIO started a new revolution. And with that, of course, English speaking became compulsory. But the third step we took, because English was becoming compulsory with NIOS coming. And we need English to talk to the world. You see, somehow it has happened like that. I hope a day when everybody speaks in Sanskrit. But today, the situations are such that we must speak in English. So everybody had to learn English. That was the second major step with NIOS coming. The third major step was adding Paravidya as the integral part of our education system. And I told 8 hours of the day are Sattvic, 8 hours are Rajasic, and 8 hours are Tamasic. So morning 4 to 8 and evening 4 to 8 are Sattvic 8 hours and should be spent in learning Sattvic things, in prayers, meditation, learning scriptures, discussing spiritual values. That should be the way. And that's how Paravidya became an as important part of the education as was the academic curriculum. The morning 8 to the evening 4 was Rajasic hours. You studied in your schools, did your homeworks, assignments, and you didn't take any worries and assignments back to your hostels. And the last 8 hours, night 8 to morning 4, was supposed to be Tamasic hours. This is the time when you rested and relaxed, rejuvenated to get back to work next day. So this methodology was an ancient idea which was completely in letter and spirit was implemented under the Paravidya idea. And today I saw Paravidya marks from the students. Most of them have done well, but the lower classes have done poorly. I know they are new, they don't understand Sanskrit, they are learning, because Sanskrit was made compulsory too. So with that, slowly people are learning the scriptures. It will take time. Higher classes have done kind of better, but I expect everybody, see, Paravidya is my subject. And I don't expect anybody to get less than 80% marks in Paravidya subjects. For me, the actual passing marks are 100%, but for 2-3 years, I'll keep concessions at 80%. I don't see why you should not know one concept of our scriptures, which has been taught to you. This was taught so that you learn, right? Who gave you the liberty to say, no, if I don't learn 20%, it is okay? Nobody gave you that liberty. You must know everything. And that's why I put more efforts on Paravidya side. Academically, you will put, I know. Paravidya is my topic, my subject. That's our scriptures and ancient truths. Please learn. 100% marks is the passing marks in times to come. And mind you, I'm going to come up with a very strong policy on Paravidya. Those who don't clear Paravidya don't continue their education here in the future. So please pay attention. This is going to come in a year or two. I'm giving some time for people to learn Sanskrit, get used to Paravidya. But that's going to be the major policy decision. I'm warning you right away. That was the third major step that we took. The fourth major step that we took in this year was completely making the education free. Even those who were paying a little bit money for the hostels, their accommodation mess charges, which was also very minimal, it was highly subsidized and largely borne by the trust. Yet we removed everything and provided from brush, paste, soap, to clothes, to books, to accommodation, food, everything free because we did not want any discrimination whatsoever between students. Rich people bring things from home, costly watches, jeans, jackets, and better quality beds and better quality things. And poor people, are given what we give. Not that it's poor quality, but it is of not maybe as branded as things were. And I saw children getting tempted, stealing from the rich children. And also there was a sense of discrimination in the teachers. They knew in their mind that these are from those, rich people, these are from the poor. Now, whether you're rich or poor, it doesn't matter to me. The only thing matters to me is that are you cultured enough? Are you service-minded? Are you on your way to become yogi? If yes, your parents are of that culture, you are of that culture, you are most welcome. If you're not, no mercy, I have told our institutional heads. No mercy. Don't use compassion wrongly. Compassion should be correctly used, not misused. Oh, he's poor, he's orphan, he's a single mother child. You have to be cultured and service-minded. And your parents have to be cultured and service-minded. Only then you are allowed an entry. Just poverty is no more the criteria. MNBS was the criteria of poverty. Now poverty is not the criteria. Because everybody is being given everything equally. So where is the question of you being poor, so you are getting special treatment? Or you being the son of so-and-so, an established person in the society, so you are getting admission? No. Or you are whatever. Even if the devotees' children and staff children have denied admission because they did not show the culture. Very clear. And I told the people of the school, the selection of the students into intermediate will be by the intermediate people. School has no say over there. You can only mention what is good, what is not. The discrimination of choosing or rejecting lies with the intermediate. That is PU. Because they are answerable to me. Why these wrong children were selected. So school can push as much as they want, but PU should reject. So selection by elimination became the way this year. A lot of people got angry for that, saying, no, these are good students, why they were not given admission? I said, something the PU's people have found not enough lacking in them, therefore they didn't give. I'll go with the PU's judgment. Wherever there was maybe an error of judgment, we tried to solve that, but largely we went with what PU thought. Similarly, when PU people sent people to university, I went with university's discretion. Many were rejected in the university this year. And many people came back saying, no, these children have studied from 6th to 12th, these parents come for seva, this, that. I told all that is fine. Is the child in tune with our culture after 5-6 years with us? And if you find them lacking in 5 years, no admission to the university. Strongly, with great courage, our chancellors, registrars, and the university team rejected candidates. First time we did that. Otherwise, people are guaranteed that they'll get a university degree or get admission if you are part of our schooling system. It wasn't so this year. Because I told university people, I will hold you responsible if I find a wrong candidate in the university. You cannot come and tell, no, PU people recommended, so we took. No. I'll catch you. You took these people in the university, now it's your responsibility. You tell me on what basis did you take a wrong candidate who was not service-minded, who was not mission-oriented, whose parents were not in tune with our system. Why did you take? You have to be answerable to me. So university people became very careful and they only took very carefully. Even slightest doubt they had, they rejected the candidate. I got a lot of pressure. I got emails, phone calls, messages, WhatsApps, name it. Because they wanted me to take the children and their main arguments were, this child was with you from 6th to 12th. We have been coming for seva. We have done this much donation. We have done, none of this mattered to me. I said, no, if the university team thought it was not appropriate, for whatever reason, we rejected. Very few exceptions I've made. Then from university, it goes into the postgraduate and internship and missionary. So I've told university, anybody who lands in post-graduation and does not continue in the mission, at least for a certain number of years, I will hold you responsible, postgraduate selection team. So don't be sure that just because you have done UG, you will get a PG over here. Not sure anymore. Those days are over. So this selection criteria, by making everything totally free and taking complete charge of the quality of the candidates, was a new policy from this year. I'm explaining to all of you because this is the beginning of the year. We are still getting pressure to take admissions. But I leave it with the discrimination of the individual groups, the PU to discriminate whom to take from the 10th, the ninth people to discriminate whom to take from the 8th, UG people, that is university, discriminate whom they take from the intermediate, and PG selection committee to see whom they want to take from the UG. But none of these should happen because of the force or recommendation or previous whatever. It has to be a fresh start for them every time. They have to prove themselves. So that is how you develop. This is the fourth. And the fifth, and the very powerful change that has been brought in this year is to include parents as an integral part of our education system. Earlier, parents were sitting on the periphery and watching, and they were happy that we are looking after the children, and they were happy that we are giving everything free. They were grateful, and whatever. But this year onwards, parents have to do 15 days of compulsory seva in one of our campuses or institutions every year, in return of everything that we do for their child. All I'm asking, 15 days. Can you believe so many parents withdrew their children from the institution? Richer parents. Not because they thought we will give them some compromised quality of things in the college. You go and check their kids. Everybody gets very good quality clothing. I personally looked into everything. And still parents withdrew. And then I inquired and found out their main problem was they didn't want to come to do 15 days seva also. That 15 days also they want to earn money and relax and imagine, we don't want such selfish people. We don't want them at all. So those who withdrew, I told better. And this year I'm going to personally monitor whether all the parents have attended 15 days of service. If any campus person comes back and says they did not do service because of this, because in 365 days, find any 15 days, I said. I don't even want 15 continuous days. 2 weeks at 2 different times are also okay. If you don't find that 2 weeks also for the sake of the institution which does everything for your child and more, then you don't deserve to keep your child over here. So I'm very clear about this policy. And why I'm saying is because I'm very happy I was introduced to the Seva volunteers who had come to the hospital, and I was told some of them are parents of our own students who are doing their, whatever the quota of 15 days. 15 days is a minimum quota. You can do 45 days, 6 months. And let me give you one more open offer. All the parents, whoever wants to work with our institutions in any of the campuses, jobs are open. You can come, join us, work with our institution. You can be farmers, teachers, doctors, anything that you want to do. You will be the first priority for us to take new employees. And of course, it's a paid job. Don't worry, it's not, though everything is free, but your job is not free, you will get paid according to whatever the standards are. So if you are farmers, you want to maintain our farms and agricultural lands, most welcome. If we are starting an agricultural course, we have 250 acres land near Dharmavaram, and I want farming families to come and settle down there. We'll give them accommodation, we'll give them a place to do farming, and in return, they will also help us with producing food for our institutions, organic food, and also train and teach the next generation about farming techniques. So there is job offer for all the parents. If they want to do volunteerism, very good, 15 days. Full-time work they want to do, they're more than welcome to come and do that. So these are the 5 big changes that I could think of in the last 5 years since the university was established. And all these changes were done for what sake? So that kalena atmani vindati, somehow or the other, everybody reaches the destination sooner or later by becoming a yogi and attaining that wisdom which is incomparable to anything in this world, in its sacredness and holiness. So this is how the scriptures are being manifested, are being practiced, are being made practical in our institutions. Bhagavad Gita shloka, okay, I know the shloka, I know it happens. Can I achieve it? I don't know. How do I achieve it? I don't know. No, now you know. Now you know how you'll achieve kalena atmani vindati, yoga sansiddhaha. This is possible. So every scriptural truth will happen in this institution because of the right kind of policies, right kind of efforts, right kind of leadership and management. So this is the future of these institutions. This institution has to grow big enough to inspire many, many more institutions to change their ways. And I want to see a vibrant India where every child is steeped in the scriptural truth. Every child is either a tyagi or a yogi. Nothing less, no bhogis and no rogis in the society. Everybody is shining in that wisdom of divinity and making the society so much better. So that generations after generation, the India that we inherited from our great rishis is re-established as the greatest country in terms of material and spiritual achievements. And let that be the way for India. And these are steps towards creating that future for all of us and leaving behind a legacy of a beautiful, vibrant, spiritual India where everybody is Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkam Apnaya. This dream of sages is possible only if we all of us work with clear vision, step in step, hand in hand towards achieving this goal. Each one of you has understood and assimilated what I am trying to explain, and then is able to explain to anybody, any stranger who walks in and throws a question at you, you should be able to answer it correctly, logically, systematically, and why we have made all these changes. And this I am explaining in the beginning of the year so that as the year begins, all of us know what exactly we are doing over here. And you should know how much time, energy, and effort I have put personally, thinking, agonizing, ruminating, contemplating on designing all these ideas and strategies, so that in next 4 to 5, sudden sweeping changes we cannot make. But over 5 years, these changes have been brought in, and this is the way to the golden, whatever, from Kali age to Satyuga that we talk about, the golden age. This is the way through these institutions. That is what will happen. So better gear up, brush up your Sanskrit, put efforts to learn the concepts. So make sure that you study that with equal interest, and ensure that in 2 to 3 years we achieve that kind of thing too. No 60%, no 50%, no this casual efforts over there. Our Vedic studies students, the first batch is graduated. They have all been posted in all these campuses. At least every campus has got 1 or 2 Vedic students. Their job to teach and train the students in Paravidya, make sure they understand all the verses correctly with meaning and the spirit behind it. Not just rote meaning, the spirit of what is being taught and how it is being applied in our institution. For example, I gave you 1 shloka of Bhagavad Gita and explained to you how that is being manifested in our institution. Like that, anything that they learn, they should know what is happening. From Guru Purnima onwards, the prayer structures are also changing to include more prayers every morning, so that more ideas are assimilated by the students. And also some more changes are going to be coming in the simple changes. But these are all towards this achievement of 1 shloka, that everybody should attain yoga. Everybody should attain jnana, sooner or later. Better sooner than later. That's how it should be. Okay. Blessings to all.